No, 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 mate. What you doing? I don't care what you say, mate. You have f***ed that. Right, today we're going to have a really hot take, as the cool Gen Z kids say, on the Spanish F-18 display at Gijon over the weekend, where the pilot seems to lose a lot of height. Now, we've seen this before, of course, with the F-16 solo Turk display. I did a video on before. I think it's pretty much the same thing, but people are saying, oh, he was avoiding birds and all that kind of stuff. Let's have a look at it. Here's another angle then from the beach crowd. The aircraft is coming round. He dishes right out there, doesn't he? And he climbs away. Lots of power, very light aircraft, of course, highly composite materials. We'll just jump back to the beginning of this one and we'll just look at the pass that precedes this, but he gets very close to the water. He is pointing at people on the beach, and he is pointing at a lot of buildings as well. You can see people are visibly shocked on the beach there. I've always said, be careful of air shows. If we have a look at this one then, this is the full. He's coming around a sort of like a headland there, and the first video we saw, of course, he was on the headland. He is slow speed, he's got a right wing down, and he carries on this nice turn. I think what is supposed to happen here is I think he's supposed to roll out wings level, invert himself possibly for the pass. I think what's happened here is he's intentionally rolled the aircraft to the right. And I think he was supposed to be pushing there to have a nice inverted pass, realizes that velocity vector has fallen through the floor here, and now he's going to recover and he's going to climb away. There's a huge amount of side slip there. There's rudder input. And he's climbing away. Let's go back and have a look at this. We're going to analyze this, of course, because we can. It's a YouTube channel, guys, as you know. I was in the Air Force for about 20 years, teaching on the Hawk T2. I was a tornado mate myself. I've been responsible for display teams on a very, very small level, like 1 or 2 aircraft. I've obviously done an investigation as well into the red areas a long time ago. So I've got an idea about what this is about. And one of the things that you have to understand is that with displays, there comes like a safety cell or a unit that controls it as well. And very often the people doing displays, of course, are the youngest people on the squadron. They just the people who've got most weekends spare. A lot of guys my age don't want to do displays. They don't want to spend my weekend away from the family when my entire week is spent away from it as well. And so you tend to send the younger guys, and it could well be that this guy was a young guy. I think I've seen a picture of him. Fair play to the boy, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's an issue at all. However, what we tend to do, we make sure we got a plan for when it goes wrong. Displaying near a headland, what we're expecting near headlands, of course, seagulls, birds. People are saying he was avoiding a flock of birds. You can't see birds in this picture here, but even if you are avoiding a flock of birds, at that angle of bank, with that power setting and that speed and that height, you're an idiot, mate. Take the birds. Take the birds. You've got 2 engines. Chance of you losing both engines, very slim. It's part of your planning. Don't try and roll and avoid them, because that sort of thing's going to happen if you do. I still think he was probably trying to do some inverted pass or something. I don't know what would cause this angle here, but I do think we're going to have a look at. I mean, you can see him push. This is why I think he was trying to do an inverted pass. He's got high alpha coming into this here, about here. High alpha means the aircraft is flying along with its nose quite high up. All right, and in the Hornet, it's a speciality for doing that. And what I think he tries to do here, he should have rolled wings level, pulled the nose up. You can see that nose coming up a little bit if we just look at that again. So look at the aspect of the aircraft at the moment. I'll put a little red arrow on it. Watch the nose comes up, invert, push. There's the push, and it's not enough, and he bottoms out, and he climbs away. I think he was trying to do an inverted pass of sorts there, and he didn't pull the velocity vector up high enough. Now, I've done a video on that before, so let's have a quick look at that video. Bit of audio, he rolls, tucks under, pulls, lift boundary, and he's away. Yeah, it looks pretty similar, doesn't it? Where the guy goes for an inverted passes, does not bring that nose up enough. And we actually, in that video you just saw at the very end there, I'm just going to play the bit where I go and replicate that in the F-16, in DCS, in my flight school Shadowlands, where I teach the full 9-month syllabus of the Royal Air Force training that I taught on these jets back here. There's a link in below if you want to have a look at it. Let's have a look at the end of that then. So this has been an F-16, then I'm coming back to about 360 knots, around about 250 feet, because that's, as a jet I borrowed from my flight school online, Shadowlands, that's the kind of speed I think he's at, about 360 knots so that the actual crowd can see him. And what we're going to do is take the line here, we're going to start waving to the crowd as he did, but now we're going to pitch our nose up to 5 degrees and we're going to roll. But on this particular occasion, we're going to forget to do that. So look, rolling, now we're just going to roll inverted here. Oh, now we're going to catch it, roll, and you can see how close we get to the ground as we pull back up again. We're bottoming him out at 130 feet, very similar to what he did. Let's look now what happens if we pull our nose up first. Here we are cruising along. We're going to do that same thing. Nose comes up, roll, And now we're going to pull, and there we go, as we saw in the tape looking back at the pilot. So particularly what I think has happened here is he's just not done that particular thing. Now, of course, there could be an issue with the aircraft, but if there is, I don't think he's going to be climbing away like this. A quick advert for Ground News, who sponsor this channel, luckily, because YouTube ain't giving me no money, fam. You know what I'm talking about. All the stories you'll find on the front page here that are current. However, you can search for stuff in the bar at the top. When you click on a story, then it will show you here, look, what's left leaning, center, or right leaning. It's a right leaning story. Let's click on it. And then straight away it gives you a summary at the top there. All the stories here, down there. You can even expand it for more articles if you want at the bottom. On the right here, it shows that there's 34 articles. There's 5 left, 14 right, and then there's 5 center. Below it then, the bias distribution shows that this is a right leaning article. And you can see here, Fox News, Israel, all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Here, factuality, expand that. You can see which ones are more factually correct than others, and so you can see who owns it as well. Where are your biases in this? Click on the article if you want. You'll go straight to that website then, and at the top you can see there's a bar that drops down as well, again showing where these biases are. You can then look at left-leaning articles and right-leaning articles and not get sidetracked by the mainstream media. 40% off. Thank me later. Leave it there, guys. A very quick one, but look, what I would just say, there is a theory about bird strikes here, and if you look across this headland here, people are saying there's the birds. They're saying he actually rolled to avoid birds. Something you should never do. As a Tornado GL4 pilot, I met many birds in many locks in Scotland. Birds know what they're doing better than you know what they're doing. Remain predictable. Birds will go down towards the trees. If he's actually maneuvering an aircraft now to get to avoid those birds, it's not going to work out well for him. He has not got the airspeed. He has not got the flight control authority of the aircraft, and that is a bad place. People saying, why didn't he eject him outside of seat limits, mate? Absolutely 100%. I'll tell you when he's outside of seat limits, really, on this bit. Let's rewind this a bit now. Seats won't save you. That will fire you into the ground. It's to do with the angle of the aircraft when you get out of the aircraft itself. He's probably outside of seat limits from about here. No, not even that, even before that. I can't really catch it. He could even be outside seat limits there, to be fair. If you pull an ejection seat handle at that point, yeah, you might be all right. It's really to do with the downward vector of the aircraft. If the aircraft is pointing down, the seat is also going down. There's some great seats out there, like the F-35, things like that. But not every seat is going to save you. And the Hornet seat most definitely will not save you from anything there. That's you dead. If you were to pull the ejection seat handle there, you're going to be killed. Absolutely no two ways about it. That is unsurvivable. The only thing this guy can do, well, there's 2 things. Don't be an idiot from the first off, mate. Don't get yourself in that position. And the second one basically is, recover the aircraft like he does here. I mean, you can see the push. Any guy watching this that's ever flown a jet will go, that guy's pushing at that point. He thinks he's trying to do an inverted pass. And I think it's a failure on the safety team personally. And the only thing you can do there is a boot full of left rudder, roll the aircraft, and just get it out there with full power. That is a very lucky pilot. That's an abandoned display. The safety team are at fault. And I'll tell you why the safety team are at fault. This is authorizer, the person in charge of that display, the person that authorizes him to go flying. And I think it is a he. I'm not being sexist here. I think it is a he in this airplane. It doesn't matter, just a pilot, right? The person who authorized this should have taken this into account. Like, is it possible to be in a right turn, come around this headland, and then invert the aircraft and carry that inverted pass? If you know what the display is, you got a link to this display with the maneuvers, and you know what he was doing here, then hit the comments, guys, and post it down below so that we can all see it. I can't find it. I've looked for it. I've contacted people. We don't think there is a published schedule for, well, there's a schedule. We don't think there is a published a diagram or anything for the maneuvers they were going through. Look, I really appreciate it, guys. I do teach all this stuff. I do teach F-18 in my school, so I'm kind of aware of the airplane. Never flown it myself, only flown Hawks and Tornadoes and that kind of stuff. If you think you know better than what I know, then whack it down in the comments. That's where it's for. We're all learning here, right? Because we don't want to let this sort of thing happen again. Hey, Tim Davies, Fast Ship Performance.